Hey guys, it is Jeremy again. Welcome back to Books and Coffee. Today I have a book haul. What? A book haul? Yeah, I did say I was going to stop doing these kinds of videos because I was just buying way too many books. But actually, surprisingly, I only have 12 books, and I just haven't been buying a lot of books in the last few months. You know, if a book comes out that I'm like really interested, or it's a sequel to a book I already have, I will go ahead and buy it if I know pretty much that I'm going to really enjoy the series. I will go ahead and pick it up. So some of these are complete series, some are so we're going to just get on with it. So the first book I have is the paperback copy of The Black Witch by Laurie Forest. You will see this in a future in a future video when I talk about my tome books for the winter of 2019 and into 2018 to 2019 tome books. But this is a very huge book. It looks very big. If you buy the hardcover of The Black Witch, it is 601 pages, but if you buy this paperback edition from the US at least, it is 637, so it is quite a big book. This book's been out for over a year now. It came out on May 2nd of 2017, and I just have not gotten around to reading it. The size of the book is what is really making me daunting, but there's not a lot of words per page, so I think this will be a very fun book to read throughout the winter time. And then any chance to be able to support this lovely lady and her work. I have yet to buy The Iron Flower, which is a sequel to this book. It will happen. I just haven't gotten around to buying it, mainly because none of my bookstores around me buy it, so I have to buy it online, and I don't really like buying hardcover online because I'm always afraid that they're going to get messed up. I have to very carefully set these on the floor. These two, I have been wanting to read these forever. And I finally was able to buy them. And they are Before She Ignites and As She Ascends, both by Jodi Meadows. This is books 1 and 2 of the Fallen Isles trilogy. Book 3 is coming out next year. Mainly because look at these covers. It is very rare to have a black protagonist, and especially a woman of color protagonist, so I am very excited. Plus, these books were held under, well, not really the sequel, but this first book was held under a lot of controversy because of that this is a black protagonist who was written by a white author. So it does have its little bit of controversy, but I'm still incredibly excited to read both of these. I don't really know a lot about them, but I know that it is a fantasy series. Sorry. You guys know me in synopsises and everything. The next one is a sequel, so I haven't read the first one, so I'm not going to really talk about a lot of this one. That is The Fates Divide by Veronica Roth. This is the sequel to Carve the Mark, and one of my very best friends in the entire world read Carve the Mark, and she absolutely loved it, so I'm quite excited to read this series as well. This is also the second and final book of the Carve the Mark duology. So this is the last one. And isn't this cover absolutely gorgeous? These books are so beautiful. So I'm quite excited this is a completed series, because I may just read both of these back to back and then film a duology review for both. Okay, this next book, I have been looking forward to this book for a fucking year. Apologize, the lighting is so weird right now. I think it's because it's really gloomy and rainy and gross outside. But anyway, when this book came out, this book's been out for, I think, close to almost 2 weeks. It came out in early October, I believe, and so it's been out for about a couple of weeks. So a lot of my BookTube friends had gotten it and were reading it. My Goodreads friends were reading it. My friends in my personal life were reading this book. And I'm like, oh my god, people were willing to send me their copy so I can read it. And I'm like, no, I want my own. It's fine. And then Target, I was just randomly walking around in Target and I saw this gorgeous book sitting there waiting for me to buy it, like books often do for me. And that book is What If It's Us by Becky R. Batali and Adam Silvera. As soon as these two authors even announced this book, I didn't even know what it was about. I was excited. Because I've read one book by Becky R. Batali, and I've heard nothing but absolutely phenomenal things from Adam Silvera. He's won several awards on almost all three of his books. So Adam Silvera has written 3 books, and so has Becky. In fact, there's actually a list of their books inside this here. Becky R. Batali has written Simon vs. the Homo Sapien Agenda, The Upside of Unrequired, and Leah on the Offbeat. Adam Silvera has written More Happy Than Not, History Is All You Left Me, and They Both Die at the End. All 6 of those 6 books, I have every intention of reading every one of them, because these two authors write so much for LGBT community. And this book, I'll tell you a little bit about what it's about, because out of all these books, I know most about this. This book follows Arthur and Ben. Both live in New York City. I think Ben... Arthur is only in New York City for the one summer, where Ben he is a casual New Yorker, and they randomly bump into each other one day, and they have this really great connection, and then for whatever reason, they disappear without having known who they really were, where they live, and New York City is such a huge place, and, you know, when you meet somebody in New York City of all places, there's a pretty good chance you're never going to meet them again, because it's such a huge place. Excuse me. I'm getting a cold, so my throat is really scratchy. I apologize in advance. And so then they begin to question when they bump into each other again, just a little, maybe a few weeks later, I think. So what is this? The universe that's doing this? Is it fate? What is it? And so, is the universe / fate pushing them together, or are they trying to rip them apart? So it has a really, really interesting premise, and I'm really thinking this is the book I'm going to start reading tonight, because I just got this today, and this cover is beautiful. And it's in perfect... I actually bought this book through Amazon, and it came all kinds of fucked up, so I gave it to my sister to read. So, now I have a much more gorgeous copy of this book for only $12 for hardcover, when this book retail is like $18.99. I'll take $12 for a hardcover that's this pretty. Oh, and it's not only this, it's also signed by both authors. Check out that. That is awesome. So, Target, you people are awesome. Next one I have, this one I actually bought back in like February, so I've had it for a while, and I may have possibly have shown it in a previous video. If that's true, sorry you're seeing it again, because my memory sucks. And that is Immortal Reign by Morgan Rhodes. This is the 6th and final book of the Fallen Kingdoms series. So now that I have the entire series of this series, I can officially start reading the series without having to worry about spoilers, without having to worry about waiting. I can officially dive into this entire series without having to wait, and I'm quite excited. This is a epic high fantasy series set around these 3 kingdoms that are all at war with each other, and we follow 4 different characters from the various 3 kingdoms. And I am quite excited to see war, angst, death, slaughter, and romance mixed with feelings and a lot of fangirling. And the next book, I have wanted this book for years. Seriously, for years and years and years. Okay, well, not really. It came out in 2013. But anyway, that book is The Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. I am so happy that I finally own this book. Like, I'm so excited to read it. It's really short, but this book, when this book came out, Target sold it for a very long time, and I was gonna buy it, but every copy they had was damaged, and I said, it's fine, I'll get it another time. So I finally had the money to get it, and I got it. It was like almost $19 on Walmart.com. I was like, it's damaged, but it's not damaged, but I was like, that's a little bit, I don't really like spending that much for hardcover online, but I was like, you know what, let's just hope it's not damaged, and it wasn't in the least. This book is in beyond flawless condition, and I love if you, like, I mean, this camera is not the best in the world or anything, but it actually looks like a really old bound. If you have read the Infernal Devices or Mortal Instruments, both of the institutes of the corresponding timelines have a pretty tethered old, basically almost a library bound type book that's called the Shadowhunters Codex. And it talks about what it means to be a Shadowhunter, what is a Shadowhunter, what are demons, what are monsters, what are runes. It's basically a Shadowhunter's guide to being a Shadowhunter, and it tells you all kinds of things. And there's also like little annotated notes by Clary, by Simon and Jace. There's also some illustrations throughout it. Now, what I didn't realize, this is the coolest part of this book. Let's see if I can't take that off here. First, you have this gorgeousness. That's the Immortal Cup. Very pretty, very blue, is this side is the Mortal Instruments. And then the back is the Infernal Devices. So that's really awesome. And I'm so pumped to read this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And like, I love how there's like little scribble marks on the side by actual like Jace and Clary and stuff, and I think that's gonna make reading this really, really fun. Yeah, so after all these years, I'm excited to finally have this. This book's also, I believe, you can get this book in paperback now if you really don't want hardcover. But this was a book I had heard just was never going to be released in paperback because I don't think it sold as well as her other books. But, yeah, so I'm excited to read it. Let me know. I will be reviewing this, but since this is not like a storyline type book, it'll be reviewed quite differently. And then I have a complete trilogy. This is a romance trilogy, so they are romance novels. And, I'm a little bit shallow in this instance because they were complete cover buys for me because they were like man candy type covers. When this book cover dropped a couple of years ago, wait, when did this come out? So I know what I'm talking about here. 2017. I think this was a 2016 like ebook or whatever, but. Anyway, the first book is called Show Me the Way, which is written by A.L. Jackson. When this cover dropped, I was like, oh my god, I have to have this cover. But I've been reading romance for so long. It's kind of like a feel-good genre for me. You know, whenever I'm just down, I can pick up a really good romance and, you know, following characters. I just love it, you know. So there's this one. Then I have book 2, which is Follow Me Back. Once again, really like the cover. And then there is book 3, which is Lead Me Home, which I'm not super crazy about this cover, but it kind of goes with the series. And all 3 books are following completely different characters, but they're all kind of like interwoven because this is all part of the Fight For Me trilogy. And after one of my friends on Goodreads highly recommended this trilogy as a just wonderful, feel-good romance series, I couldn't pass these up. And I got all 3 of these for like $8 or $9 a piece via Amazon because I'm a Prime member, so you love the discounted prices when it comes to a lot of stuff for Prime members. So I was like, oh yeah, so I'm anticipating these to be really fun. One of my best friends just finished reading this one, and she said this is their favorite out of the series, so it kind of makes me more excited for these stories since I'm not a really huge cover fan of this one. But next one I have is, and I feel like so many people are reading this one right now, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, written by Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings under their name of Christina Lauren. Now, I have two other of their books. I have Dating You, Hating You, and what is their other book? Love and Other Words. I actually am willing to give their Beautiful series another chance, and I also want to read their Wild Seasons series. But this is now the third standalone romance that they have, so love the cover to this one. And basically these are about best friends that try not to end up dating, and they kind of like fake date, I think, and then they end up becoming like dating people. Dating people. My brain's not really working today, but it's a pretty short romance book, so I'm quite excited to read this one. And the book that actually originally started a lot of this, and when I saw this cover, I was like, okay, this looks awesome. This is the cover. The book is called A Fairy of Bones and Gold by Hadley Turner. This is book 1 of the Soulbound series. This is the only book out that's right now. This is the cover, and this guy is yummy. But this is about Patrick. And when I find self-published books that features gay characters, I'm very, very suspicious, because I was like, oh, please don't be because there's so many erotica self-published gay character type books that are nothing but sex. Literally the entire book is nothing but about them, you know, in bed all day. Nothing wrong with that at all, but I really want more. I mean, I don't mind the genre of erotica if there's a point to me, because I like to think that sex is not just sex. There should always be something more, and I feel like a lot of them is just people getting their rocks off together. But from what I understand, this author had a whole, excuse me, this weather is killing my throat. But this cover has a very Mortal Instruments vibe, the cover, like the color scheme. This book was very expensive. I think I spent like $17.99, but it was technically a birthday present from my family, so, and it just sounds really, really interesting to me. I like the chapter like heading things, and I was pleasantly surprised that there's actually a lot of words on each page. Most self-published authors have a like big font, but the back of the book says, "When the gods come calling, you don't get to say no." So I'm not really sure, but this is a urban fantasy series. And the author has another series which is called the Metahuman series, which is a series of 5 books. And I had a friend of mine that's just finished this book, and I'm friends with her on Goodreads. And she said, she's like, I'm so pissed. She messaged me like maybe like a couple weeks back. And she's like, oh my god, I just finished this book and I'm pissed. She was so mad that she finished it so early because she wanted to wait until... I'm really sorry. She was just really mad that she wanted to wait, but now she has to wait probably a year for book 2. Let's see if I can see how long this book is without spoiling myself. 372 pages, so this is definitely one of my most anticipated books, so very excited. So yeah, sorry this video turned into 20 minutes. I apologize. Normally my book hauls aren't this extensive, but I haven't done one of these in like probably a year. I don't even know when the last time I did one. But look for one more video today, and that one is going to be on standalone novels, kind of like another booktube discussion. So I will let you guys go, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.